Hello to everybody watching and listening, and once more welcome back to more Mechabellum. I'm playing against the Vic here. I think he's, I wouldn't say famous maybe, but I could also be wrong. But I'm pretty sure I've seen him play Aggro before, and I've seen him in some videos and stuff, and tournaments as well, I think. So he's a pretty good Aggro player at about 1700 MMR at the time of playing this. He was at 1703. And I was at a measly 1543. So this is going to be a steep match. My opponent instantly sells out of one of his Phoenix packs and goes for a Wraith in round number 1. He can do that with Aerial Specialist. Yeah, we're going to be seeing some Wraith Aggro and Aggro in general, it seems. I do end up dropping some Marksmen. I was originally only planning to defend against the Phoenixes, but honestly, the Marksmen don't sound bad against the Wraiths either. Especially that I can drop them as level 2. I should mention that I am Elite, and Elite into Aggro I think is kind of bad. My opponent is Aerial Specialist. Yeah. It's very unfortunate that the Marksman has already locked on and will take only a few more seconds to kill that Wraith. However, there's not really any more chaff clear left. That said, I have a marksman moving in here, taking out the phoenixes. And now all that's really left is a handful of crawlers, and I still have these ledges for chaff clear. And I would have had a good amount more crawlers even there. Tower debuff comes in, so my opponent gets both the tower experience, both towers worth of experience, similar to I do. But I'm actually dealing an amount of damage that is very respectable for round number 1. Intensive training or smart marksman, I think overall smart marksman is going to give me a better return. If that marksman just kills this Wraith again, he's going to level. And that means he will take this Wraith down even faster next round. My opponent sold the other pack of phoenixes. I'm adding a second marksman. I mean, why not? And then I drop some crawlers, and I think I drop it in the flank. Meanwhile, my opponent is also dropping units in the flank. Ah no, I'm putting them here. My opponent doesn't have anything here, so why should I bother with a flank? I can just straight go to the tower. There's nothing stopping me, literally. I also get attack up 1. My opponent does have intensive training. Does he use it this round? Nah, I don't think so. He just bought another Wraith and some crawlers on the flank. Now I don't have chaff clear here. That said, my opponent dropped some fangs in the very rear, which means they are not going to stop these crawlers. They just overrun the entire tower. And that means that, yeah, there really isn't much that my opponent really can do here. Now, this is annoying, very annoying. But I have a mass of crawlers going after another tower debuff, as my opponent is going after a tower debuff on me here. Sledges have taken out almost all of the crawlers. Now the Wraith is stuck on that. And there will be a tower debuff coming in soon. And I have another marksman coming in to help. So I do end up winning the second round with even more of an advantage, simply because my opponent didn't defend his tower, honestly. And this is a round where I do something really fun. It's risky. I will tell you, it's risky, but it definitely is fun. A lot of fun. Vulcan comes out. Scorpions come out. My opponent picks the Scorpion. Fortress also not bad. Fire badges are here in standard. They are actually pretty good. I must honestly say that maybe this is a standard versus aggro. For the defender they are good. But I just picked the Vulcan. I want some reliable anti-chaff and also anti-Wraith. With that amount of HP, the Wraiths are going to take a long time. So I still have some supplies left, and I'm selling these crawlers. And instead of the crawlers, I'm putting something else here. Can you guess what it is? If you guess storm crawlers, you are right. Because I'm kinda expecting my opponent to defend this with a missile or with a pack of crawlers somewhere. And if he does put them into this area where the storm crawlers are going to not exactly be shooting because it's in their minimum range, it means that the Stormcallers are going to shoot the tower. Now I am lucky that I am elite, because Well, maybe it would still have worked with level 1 Stormcrawlers, but they kinda do target, or one of them targeted the crawlers. The Vulcan has cleaned this one up, the Wraiths are being completely obliterated, and right now this is looking absolutely terrifying. I even still have a marksman here I never sold, in order to clean up my opponent's Wraith that he put here. He's just getting completely... Yeah, I think I can accurately say completely owned this time around. I really like that Stormcaller trick. I have to remember that for future matches. If your opponent doesn't have any units to distract here, crawlers, and then if he wants to put something here and maybe even push through to the tower, just go for the Stormcrawlers and get the tower. I was defending so well I could afford to do that. That should also be mentioned. Now, Wasp Swarm did come out. I fully expect my opponent to defend that. So I don't go for it. My opponent is putting defensive Wasp Swarm here. Putting some additional Wasps into my flank. Probably to deal with that Marksman. That Marksman, by the way, has level 2-4. Smart Marksman really coming through here. What do I get here? I'm not sure. I'm still sitting on my cash. I'm getting a second Vulcan. I did, by the way, sell the Stormcrawlers here. I don't expect that trick to work again. Even though, right now, I think it actually would work again. But my opponent, I guess, is betting that I sell. I guess I have 3 marksmen against a whole lot of air units. That apparently didn't work. This Wraith pushed ahead, but starting with the next round, it will not. I put a pack of fangs here, and missiles in the other positions. These wasps are a bit annoying, but that level 2 Vulcan is not gonna go down to this. I am, however, being pushed through on this side. I am taking out the wasps, but the Wraith is gonna get the tower now. Some more wasps live. This marksman should be able to get rid of those of that Wraith quickly. The missile does take out the remaining wasps, and that means that under a tower debuff, I'm actually cleaning this round up as well. I really did not expect to win that round. But the level 2 units against the Wraiths buying a lot of time. Senior attack specialist for my opponent. He did put levels and elite and more levels onto this Wraith. So honestly, maybe even an enhancement module would have been worth it and just sell that thing and concentrate on one flank. That is what I would have probably done. At the very least, that is a plan that I have here. But maybe he's just trying to level these Wraiths until they can just annihilate Vulcans anyway. Since my opponent has Wraiths and tagged into them and has Wasps, and shield instead of EMP for me. I honestly think that going into range enhancement here on Wasps is not even that bad of a play, but I do need anti-air as well, so I buy out for that. And then probably get a temporary, a permanent upgrade here. Don't want to waste too much supply, but I think buying out for that is actually worth it. It will basically secure me a win here until unless he hard counters it by accident. So these wasps are eating. And they continue to eat. They destroy these wasps and then they just move on to the Wraith. Despite being level 3, this Wraith is completely obliterated. And that Wraith survives not much longer. Vulcan cleans up the ground and I think I have about as hard countered my opponent's army as you can even think. It is not over yet, however. Melting points for my opponent. Honestly, I think maybe the Arclights would have been a good choice. I just go for the Sabertooth and sell it. He does at temporary range. And he still has money in the bank. He mobile beacons a Wraith in. Now there is an actual counter to these Vulcans out. He didn't have a counter to them before. which really surprises me. Now he really goes ham on melting points. And if memory serves, he buys out and gets energy diffraction in order to counter these wasps here. So what do? I have 1,400 in the bank, and I'm unsure what to do. My opponent is trying to blast the wave 3 in case there's anything up front. But putting chaff in front of Wraith with range really isn't much of a plan, I think. I end up just going for triple tagged wasps and hoping that there's nothing super hard countering out. Fortresses probably would have been a good choice for my opponent here. But this is simply too many wasps. They eat Wraiths for breakfast. The Vulcan has died and a tower debuff comes in, however. Both Vulcans have died and there still is a decent amount of chaff. He did not go for energy diffraction. I must have remembered a different game. Which means that these wasps are kinda not really countered properly. But the question is, can the wasps take out the melting points? They do have DPS support. There is level 4 and level 5 marksmen. And that is the entire answer. They are camouflaged a bit against the ground, especially in the wreckage of everything. But it ends up being a win again, although not by much. Maybe now he goes for energy diffraction. There also is an absorption module, a pretty good item for melters in my opinion. Nano repair kit or heavy armor. I opt for the heavy armor. And what do I put it on? Also do note that I have EMP again. I put a pack of crawlers here and some phoenixes behind in order to push the tower. Get the mobile beacon and just move it around. I think I was going for a straight move. I end up putting the EMP here, which will EMP the strongest melter my opponent has. It's the one even with the item. Yeah, I'm basically going straight here and then angling it towards the second tower as quickly as I can. Temporary upgrades and buying out on both sides. That marksman can level as well, but I no longer have any money. I still have this armor that I'm not sure what to really do with. My opponent, I think, is just thinking about what to do with the mobile beacon. He ends up going for this side. Surprised, honestly. I would have expected him to try the other side. Anyhow, the wasps have also leveled. Some of them have hit level 3. The phoenixes are still stuck on some crawlers, but they are finally about to move in. And that means that a juicy tower debuff is coming in with one phoenix shot. Which means that my opponent right now is highly unfortunately getting absolutely steamrolled by carry wasps, even though they are not that high level. Second tower debuff comes in. It was basically a race between the phoenixes and the crawlers, and the match is just so over. It cannot really be much more over. So yeah, it ends up being quite a stomp, which is surprising against a player of 1700 MMR. I think he was just experimenting with Wraith aggro. But I will say that I think I've learned something here watching this replay. I didn't know about this before, but I honestly think that Wraith aggro is not all that good into Elite. Because just level 2 marksmen into Wraiths are pretty freaking good, and getting a Vulcan drop was an absolute gift. And of course I had some absolutely beautiful anti-tempo plays, anti-tempo for my opponent. I'm still really glad I did that Stormcaller switch. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening, and until next time everybody.